As this war of attrition grinds across the Ukrainian theater, we must analyze the shifting doctrines of. We will dissect key tactical engagements, including foreign assets facing drone threat. Next, we analyze fatal mine clearance errors and the complete neutralization of a Russian armored column. Synthesizing these tactical events reveals the hard reality of this high-technology, fast-moving battlefield. Let us evaluate these operations to understand the lethal mechanics of 21st-century combat. Let us start near Ule, where the 37th Marine Brigade detected a heavily armored Russian advance. The adversary intended to breach the sector and launch a massive breakthrough, but Ukrainian defense planning was already ahead. Ukrainian command anticipated this maneuver, engineering a highly coordinated, multi-layered defensive ambush. They saturated the enemy approach vectors with heavy anti-tank mines, turning the route into a pre-sighted kill zone. As the hostile column advanced down the designated path, the lead armored vehicle hit the trigger point. A massive pressure plate detonation tore through the hull, sending a fireball high into the air. The initial blast neutralized the crew, forcing the trailing armor to halt and breaking their tactical formation. With the enemy bottlenecked and panicked, Ukrainian command seized the initiative to initiate their main strike. Artillery batteries opened fire immediately, combining heavy howitzer barrages with coordinated aerial drone strikes. Under this synchronized bombardment, multiple troop carriers and armored assets quickly caught fire. With their formations shattered, the surviving crews attempted a chaotic retrograde movement to escape the kill zone. However, overhead reconnaissance tracked their lines of retreat, directing precise kinetic strikes to finish them. Scattered vehicles sought cover inside the nearby woodline, but within minutes, the entire force was combat. Surviving infantry scattered into the open, completely stripped of armored protection and heavy weapon support. In the mop-up phase, aerial assets conducted battle damage assessment flights to locate remaining pockets of dispersed enemy combatants attempting to flee were systematically targeted and neutralized by hunter-killer drone. After the violent kinetic engagements, the sector fell silent, dominated only by the smell of burning cordite. Burning wreckage confirmed that this major mechanized push had been entirely defeated through superior defensive planning. In the Kursk region, elements of the 8th Special Forces Regiment confirmed the presence of North Korean troops. Ukrainian operators established continuous drone surveillance, capturing feed of a wounded foreign combatant on the ground. While his operational status was uncertain, an FPV strike asset was deployed to probe the target. The platform landed nearby. The soldier feigned death, initially hoping to avoid detection by the operator. But once he realized the drone was active, panic took over and he scrambled to escape as it relaunched. Lacking basic anti-drone training, he tried to swat the FPV platform away. The pilot held back. The operator kept his distance, assessing the soldier's capability, which only increased the target's psychological panic. The moment the soldier reached for his service rifle, the pilot committed to a kinetic intercept. The quadcopter accelerated, slamming directly into the combatant. The high-explosive payload detonated instantly. Elsewhere, the 1st Battalion of the 92nd Assault Brigade located Russian infantry near the Niyi area. Drone feeds over the Kursk region showed multiple wounded Russian soldiers completely cut off from support. Isolated without armored transport, moving on foot under drone-infested skies is a death sentence. Navigating open terrain with zero overhead cover leaves infantry entirely exposed to persistent aerial threats. This constant psychological pressure degrades soldier reflexes and decision-making, compounding their vulnerability on the front. Ukrainian operators do not limit their kinetic strikes to exposed personnel on the move. They hunt inside fortified positions, utilizing precise targeting to locate troops hiding deep in trenches. Once coordinates are locked, makeshift bunkers and dugouts offer little protection against targeted payloads. High-speed FPV platforms are piloted directly into bunker entrances, neutralizing the target on impact. This paradigm shift has rewritten the laws of squad-level combat, redefining the role of infantry. Drones are no longer just passive sensors. They are primary kinetic instruments of force projection. For troops caught in the open, evasion is nearly impossible. Seeking cover in tree lines is futile. Modern thermal optics and precision guidance mean there is simply nowhere left to hide. Our electronic surveillance easily pinpoints these coordinates, leaving exhausted or wounded troops highly vulnerable, lose critical mobility, drastically dropping their survival rate. Some scramble to defend themselves by retreating into bunkers, but these offer zero safety when FPV drones are directed straight into these dugouts, neutralizing the occupants. The kinetic blast yields no chance of escape, securing absolute destruction of the sector. Finding reliable cover on this modern battlefield is crucial for advancing infantry, especially across open terrain. But under modern warfare conditions, technological observation renders these old sanctuaries completely obsolete. Russian units battered by freezing weather and exposed in open fields desperately try to seek cover behind ruins or natural terrain features. But our surveillance drones and advanced aerial reconnaissance quickly pinpoint these positions from above. Our artillery assets execute precision strikes on these coordinates, neutralizing the threat with lethal efficiency. These fire missions deploy heavy anti-tank mines and high explosives, leaving the zero chance of escape. These operations are completely rewriting tactical doctrine, transforming once safe sectors into high-risk zones. Securing technological dominance delivers more than just a battlefield advantage, decisive psychological edge. Knowing they are constantly monitored and targeted, hostile forces operate under relentless operational strain. We have pioneered a new tactical shift, deploying TM-62 mines via unmanned aircraft. This allows our forces to sow minefields deep behind enemy lines safely and effectively. Specifically, heavy drones known as Baba Yaga drop TM-62 mines into hostile sectors during night operations. These platforms using thermal optics bypass outer defensive perimeters to systematically seed these minefields. Tactical interdiction is specifically designed to deny mobility to enemy armor and sever critical corridors. The TM-62 is a heavy blast mine weighing roughly 10 kilograms and packed 7.5 kilograms of high explosives. Though a legacy Soviet design, this munition remains widely fielded by both combatants. Tactical assessments prove the TM-62M variant is highly effective against platforms, including main battle tanks. Integrating these legacy mines with unmanned flight technology, modern warfare is evolving. This integration yields superior operational flexibility, enabling lethal strikes on the battlefield. Our observers in the 426th Unmanned Systems Battalion located a Russian 2S4 Tyulpan self-propelled mortar hidden in the tree line northeast of Kostasov in the Kherson sector. This devastating heavy artillery was camouflaged deep inside dense woods, unaware that our operators were actively tracking its path. Our reconnaissance and surveillance elements watched the high-value target continue to maneuver, completely blind to the threat. Recognizing this high-value opportunity, our commanders authorized a decisive strike using unmanned assets. Multiple drones launched in rapid succession, each objective. With clinical aerial precision, our forces commenced the attack, scoring consecutive direct hits on the 2S4 heavy mortar. Consecutive secondary explosions tore the platform apart, sending thick black smoke billowing over the objective. With the enemy asset completely neutralized and the strike verified, our front line rapidly exfiltrated to safe positions. The 2S4 Tyulpan is a heavy 240mm self-propelled mortar during the Soviet era and maintained in modern Russian inventories. First entering service in the 1970s, it was a highly destructive weapon in Moscow's arsenal. In this ongoing theater, Russian commanders have actively deployed the 2S offensive operations. Our successful neutralization showcases the absolute efficacy of our offensive strategies. Throughout this conflict, we have prioritized advanced air defense and mobile armor to minimize the impact of hostile heavy artillery. Simultaneously, our tactical planners have fielded to suppress their fire support systems. The 2S4 can devastate armor and fortified strongpoints with massive heavy munitions, making it a critical threat. However, our strategy of reinforcing trench lines, systematically hunting these platforms, is showing decisive results. Our doctrine for tackling the 2S4 Tyulpan relies on agile maneuvering units, surgical drone strikes, and the deployment of advanced air defenses supplied by Western allies. Tactically, the mission is to blunt hostile offensives, cripple the enemy's ground combat power. We are analyzing combat footage showing a catastrophic detonation during a routine sweep of a hostile minefield. The operator is executing standard clearance protocols attempting to neutralize the threat with close visual inspection. In mine warfare, a single microsecond of distraction is fatal. A hair trigger initiates the device instantly, causing a massive secondary detonation. Subsurface munitions left exposed to long-term environmental wear can become highly volatile. Moisture degrades internal safety springs while internal components corrode over time, or the main charges destabilize. This makes them hypersensitive to even the slightest disturbance or pressure change. A simple tactile error during disarming can easily trigger the primary pressure fuse, causing immediate. Modern ordnance utilizes advanced triggering mechanisms beyond simple physical pressure. They deploy magnetic influence sensors or electronic fuses designed to detonate upon detecting strict localized metal signatures. The sweep team's own detector or tactical radio likely broadcasted the signal that tripped charge. Ukrainian forces employ these area denial systems to channelize hostile armor and secure My analysis confirms this creates massive operational friction for advancing troops. The incident demonstrates an unforgiving reality of subterranean warfare. It remains a decisive shaping factor on the modern battlefield. Rubizh Rapid Reaction Brigade of the National Guard was executing a recon patrol near the village of Spern in the Donetsk sector when they spotted 3 hostile combatants. The enemy moving slowly through heavy canopy cover but made a critical tactical error by halting on an exposed trail they assumed was secure. Observing this breach of discipline, Ukrainian command quickly coordinated to exploit the vulnerability. Elements called in indirect fire support immediately plotting precise firing coordinates to ensure. Once the fire mission was authorized, Ukrainian mortar crews initiated a highly accurate strike. The high explosive round achieved a direct hit, triggering a devastating blast. Plumes of black smoke smothering the kill zone, neutralizing the entire hostile element. Once battle damage assessment confirmed 0 survivors, our assets broke contact, consolidating at safe rally points. We observe that Ukraine's tactical employment of light artillery continues to yield high tactical returns, especially around Bakhmut. These specialist teams undergo rigorous drilling to tighten response loops and ensure tight fire discipline, minimizing critical misfires. This rotational training in active combat zones maintains a highly lethal battle-tested cadre of operators. To increase mobility, Spain supplied Alacran rapid deployment systems integrated on VAMTAC chassis for rapid deployment. Handled by the 210th Assault Regiment, these highly mobile platforms offer crews rapid shoot and scoot capabilities. By combining modern tech with integrated fire coordination, the defenders retain high tactical flexibility. Look at this next engagement, where the recon unit of the 65th Motorized Brigade identifies 3 high-value Buk M3 air defense systems in Zaporizhzhia. The Buk M3 is a potent medium-range platform that severely restricts our localized air mobility. To survive, these assets require strict camouflage. But the open terrain of this sector presents a severe tactical bottleneck for the defenders. The Buk batteries were deployed in sparse, dried-out tree lines, offering virtually no overhead concealment. Our reconnaissance drones quickly spotted the heat signatures and plotted the intercept. Pilots assessed wind drift and approach vectors to optimize their angle of attack. The lead FPV pilot targets the exposed missile canister of the Buk launcher. During terminal phase, the operator corrects for target motion, striking the high-explosive payload and triggering a mass cook-off. The primary asset is instantly neutralized. We immediately shift fire to the adjacent Buk system. A second hunter-killer drone vectors in on the launcher platform, striking the vulnerable fuel cells. A secondary blast erupts, reducing the multi-million-dollar system to absolute scrap. The last battery element remains intact, but isolated. To achieve complete tactical denial, our operators launch a third strike asset. The drone targets the heart of the air defense array, the main radar. The tracking dish is destroyed, effectively blinding and neutralizing the entire battery. A classic demonstration of their regional capability has collapsed entirely. This strike dealt a catastrophic blow to their integrated. It leaves their forward units completely exposed to airstrikes. The surgical execution of these drones proves once again that unmanned systems dictate the tactical rules of engagement in modern warfare. This operation locks down local air superiority, creating a decisive strategic advantage for upcoming high-tempo maneuvers.